Alright, so to start off, the evil run through slash getting all the rest of the trophies, we're just gonna go for the cars first things first. And if you're unfamiliar with the Infamous storyline, I would suggest looking up a different video about that to follow along. This is purely just for the trophies that I don't yet have. And if you guys could drop a like, I will be putting out more videos for getting achievements slash platinums if I'm able to. And the reason really does matter just because I do have a bunch of games on Steam and I do have access to PlayStation Plus, but not all games are PlayStation Plus accessible. So we'll be seeing going forward how I will be chasing achievements slash platinums. What my past self didn't know at this point in time is that the UCG missions, which is the online level of mission creator stuff, the trophies for them are actually very particular. Two of them are general, one of them is not. I thought they were all generalized, but we will touch on that when that time comes. So I thought I'd start us off by swinging into it, and the reason why we are starting with Infamous 2 and not Infamous 1 or Infamous Second Son, or including those in these videos, is because I already have them done. They're already platinumed, I already got them trophies, so I can't really do that without getting a new account, and I'm not doing that whole mess. I just replayed the first Infamous game on RSPC3, and no, nope, no, nope. Check back in 5 years, maybe then. And plus, there are more games, there are more things to play, there are more things to platinum, to get achievements for, whether it's on Steam, PlayStation, or heck, even Xbox. There's more games to play. So we're just gonna kind of finish these off to kind of solidify everything and then go from there. Now, what I didn't know here is that in order to get that trophy for the hurting 100 civilians or whatever, you have to get the bystander here, which you see here. I did not get those, I don't think, earlier on those other people, but in case you as well are going for these trophies, just know you have to get that. And we now have the Blast Core, which we are now going to go meet Dr. Wolf for, in which we were going to get the first ability unlocked, which is going to help us unlock that trophy for throwing cars at enemies, which we will eventually get in time. Now, the cool thing with the cops is that they're not evil or considered enemies yet, but once you are evil enough or you start attacking them and then they're attacking you, you can now use them for different trophies, for different things trophy related, but they have to be a red dot on your minimap in order for it to be considered an enemy. You cannot hit a police officer like with this opportunity here far off from the distance and then expect it to count towards something. It's not going to. They need to be a red dot on the minimap. The red indicator for the cops with the shield, that's not good enough. You have to have each NPC as a red dot in order for it to count towards it. Now, another cool thing you can do here is when you see a blue opportunity on the map, like this gun one here, where you can like save a civilian and whatnot, you don't have to. You don't have to do any intermission at all. However, if you do cause the civilian to become a bystander, get that XP like I mentioned before, and then take out the enemies, it will not be considered good karma. It will not count towards that. So as you saw me there, I beat them up, and then you can take out the enemies and get some extra XP that way, which I do highly recommend if you're going to do an evil build, just because getting XP on the evil side is a bit more difficult. You don't get as much XP for a takedown. Just picking up a few more special deliveries here, that way we can get those towards the counter of the trophy, and then we'll be getting back to the story here, just because, again, we have to do an entire playthrough in order to get the last few trophies, which takes quite a bit of time, which is nice. So we're going to go ahead and chase down Bertrand to progress the story a little bit more. So that way we can just kind of hurry this along here. So I'm going to be cutting in and out quite a bit here with all the different stuff just so that we can get these trophies going. And while doing this, I ended up popping our first trophy for Cold Blooded, which is basically the bystander thing. We got to injure or hurt 100 civilians, so we got that one checked off. Nice. So, real big tip, if you're looking for a really easy way to get this trophy with the cars done, this side mission here is the absolute best one because basically a bunch of people are disguised as civilians while they are militia, whatever, you know how it goes. Anyhow, so all these militia, they are melee based and they can only throw rocks and punch you and everything like that. They don't have weapons or anything like that. So you can just grab all the cars around here and actually just start throwing them at everybody. And that's actually how we end up getting the trophy right here. So this is the first mission in which we have to choose between a good or a bad side, evil side, whatever. And we have to go rescue Quo. So we have to pick between pick between Quo or Nyx. That's usually how it goes throughout the rest of the game, but this time we're actually picking between Zeke and Nyx instead because we're going to go rescue Quo, and then she'll be in those future missions with us. And now we're on to knocking out all the guys in the blacked out areas, which can be a little bit of a troublesome thing, especially if you're doing this on a good karma playthrough, just because you don't have the bio leech available. But bio leech is not, like, it's there, but you have to have no one shooting at you during the process, because during the animation, you are not invincible. And that is very unfortunate. So you're not you don't even get the health and energy back until the animation completely finishes. It's not during, it's not until after you do the quick time event, complete it, and then the animation finishes. So I wouldn't recommend this on a quick playthrough, but I wouldn't recommend this probably on a hard playthrough, which is probably why it was so difficult for me. But we did manage it. I did get it, as you guys can see there, and it was fun, to say the least. So, on to the next trophy. So pretty much the next few trophies we're going to be getting are all story-based. So we're going to be doing those and then doing kind of a switcheroo into the UCG missions. So right now we are just plainly going through the story. No side stuff, no really anything. Just trying to get the evil karma up and just trying to get through this story because it takes time, just as anything does. So something I forgot to mention is that we are searching for these RFI things, or I should say blast cores to use the RFI, which is something that Dr. Wolf created. But story-based wise, I know I said it wasn't too important, but just to give you guys kind of the heads up here, what we've all gone through so far. So Dr. Wolf came, he helped us out a little bit, but then he got captured, and then we had to go rescue him, and then after rescuing him and getting in that crash, it killed Dr. Wolf, and then Quo got captured. So now, what we are basically doing is going around trying to absorb these blast cores, which are different from the blast shards, apparently. I'm not sure exactly on a core or lore level how. But one's more powerful than the other. That's all you need to know. So we need to absorb these things for the beast to come so that we can fight them in the final mission. Since that is what was indicated to us by Kessler, what we needed to do at the end of the first Infamous game. Like, whether you were good or evil, you said you were going to be ready for the beast. So, we shall see what happens. Alright, so following the rebels. This is one of the missions in which we will be receiving a trophy from. So, we gotta go in here. Apparently, fool the rebels. I think that's what you do in this one. I'm not really sure. I think. You might be doing something of that sort, you know, rather than exchange goods. Anyhow, so go in here, do some battling, and get the trophy. Right there, just like that. So we're down to 3 blast cores now, which is great because it just means we're getting closer to the end of the game. And it means we're getting more powers as well. So, with that, we're going to go on to the next part of the mission, but I'm really trying to keep this spoiler free as much as possible. So I'm gonna be not just cutting out for a bunch of different reasons, but in case I didn't make that clear yet, that is why there's also a lot of cuts. Even though this is an older game, and even though there may be some spoilers in here, I'm gonna try to keep it at least somewhat spoiler free with this video. And just like that, we just got Am I the Daddy trophy, which I believe was a story mission. So we have just a few more on the way, but it's still going to take a lot of time because we're kind of in that stretch right now where we are doing a bunch of things, but with little to no results trophy wise. So we're in that long haul right now. That's where I'm at mentally, physically, all that. So instead of just going through the whole story right now and ending off and getting those things and then having to do the UCG missions, my goodness, I can't talk. We are going to go ahead and just load back into my other save file, which I have all the abilities for, which can come in handy for some of the UCG missions. So we're going to go ahead and do that and then get all these things. However, what I ended up messing up on, if you guys saw back on the video, is that we need to get 10 missions played and then 25 missions played. I thought it said we had to get 5, 10, and then 25, but it really just wants 10 played and then 25 to get the veteran trophy, and then there's the other one to play 5 missions under the newest filter. So what ended up happening here was I loaded this save from years and years ago. So I already had some UCG missions played, and I had no idea. However, while I was counting all the different ones, it ended up kind of working. So I'm thinking I'm supposed to be getting 25 as my last trophy, or something. I don't know. I'm waiting for it, and then I start to figure out about 4 hours in that I'm not getting it, and I don't know why. And then I go and check and see that I did not see the newest filter thing. So that's the fun part. And also, I do want to kind of just go off a side rant here and just say the mission things, some of these missions are really, really fun, and some of them are really, really bad. But I think it's worth, if you are a fan of level design or anything like that, I think it's worth checking out. It's pretty fun. Some of them are really nice, and if you like the Infamous 2 game and you have PlayStation Plus and you can stream it, just go back and try to play some of these because people are still making some and they're still pretty good. With that, we now went ahead and got the UCG Curious Trophy right there, and this was the time in which I thought we did 5 missions. Alright, so I think we're going to get 10 and then 25. So this is where it all kind of happens. So this is the beginning of it, of the insanity, of the circus, of the carnival, whatever you want to call it. Alright, so here we go, going and getting the veteran trophy. And this is when I thought that we did 10 missions rather than the 25. So I thought we had 15 more to go. And I went ahead and looked ahead of my recordings already, and it looks like I played about 2 to 3 more hours, somewhere in that range, of more UCG missions than necessary. And in fact, I was trying to hurry this along that I found a UCG mission that took me 17 seconds, which I shall show you guys. And I was playing it over and over and over, trying to get the 25 trophy that I had already gotten that I didn't know I'd already gotten. Kind of funny. And quick side note before we jump into the rest of the story, I did forget about another trophy that I did end up attaining. I went through my footage to find it, thank goodness, which was the Archvillain, and I actually got it prior to Am I the Daddy, but it was from the same mission. So I'm glad I looked back on that just so that I could get it for you guys.
There we go. There's one. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, there we go.